From across Maryland, Virginia, and the District, this is Washington's 24-hour local news leader. News Channel 8's Live This Morning starts right now.
The ongoing debate on D.C. school vouchers is once again up for discussion. We just heard the president talk about it sort of obliquely in his message to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Kevin Chavis is a former member of D.C. Council and chair of the Council Education Committee. And now private citizen Kevin Chavis joins us to talk more about how vouchers would affect the quality of education for D.C. students. This has become such a lightning rod in terms of the emotional debate. We sort of were able to take it out of that a little bit and get it into place. How's the system running right now? Because it is up for debate again, and we'll get to that in a second. But give me an assessment right now. How's the voucher system working?
Well, I think parents have really spoken clearly about the voucher program in D.C. You know, we've got 1,700 children going to 49 different non-public schools, but we've had 8,000 parents try to get their children into these schools. And studies are showing that these kids are doing well. Parent participation is at an all-time high, and most of these children came in the bottom third in terms of reading and math, and in every case these kids have improved. So it's clear that something is working and we shouldn't end it prematurely.
Now that sort of gets us to the point at which we are right now, and again, we heard the president earlier sort of talking about the many options out there, and he mentioned vouchers. It's sort of hard to take his temperature on the issue right now. One thing we do know, though, is his education secretary, Arne Duncan, who was the head of the Chicago school system for a long time, said he opposes vouchers, but in the same sentence said that the district is a special case and the voucher system there ought to be allowed to continue because it is something of a laboratory, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm proud of Arne Duncan for stepping forward, as I am with Michelle Rhee. And the bottom line is, look, we've just heard stories about homelessness. We've heard stories about the economy. We need to break out of this one-size-fits-all paradigm. We need to embrace innovation and creativity. And the one thing about a voucher or scholarship program, similar to homeschooling, similar to charter schools, is it allows parents to be empowered to pick what's best for their kids. And this idea of having one service delivery system in education just doesn't fit with today's society.
And it does sort of echo what the president said earlier when he said the old paradigm clearly wasn't working. We need to throw that out. In the district public school system, we know from the charter public schools that have almost become sort of a parallel school system prior to Michelle Rhee's arrival. It's been very successful. It has done its job. It has had some problems in some schools, but by and large, it seems to be a great success. And somewhere in this mix, maybe the voucher system has its rightful place.
Dave, let's take the politics out. Let's take the emotionalism out of it. Let's take the special interest. Let's focus on best for children. Look, the bottom line is, you know, we have to fly this plane while we fix it. I appreciate what Michelle Rhee is. But our deficits are scary. For over half of the African-American boys that enter high school in D.C. drop out. In some cities, it's larger. In Detroit and Indianapolis, 80% of the African-American boys that enter high school drop out. With those deficits, we should be willing to embrace different ways to deliver educational services to our children. Parents like this program. It's working. The president, Arne Duncan, support it. Michelle Rhee supports it. We need to make sure we continue to offer better options for our parents and for our kids.
Is this a message that you intend to take to Congress and the White House?
Absolutely. In particular, Dave Obey, who talked about the fact that he needs to have Michelle Rhee prepared to absorb these kids. That's an insult to these children and their parents out here. The parents like this program. The studies show it works. Senator Feinstein said that on the floor yesterday. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, if we take this away from our children right now, it will be devastating to their future.
Kevin Chavis, former member of D.C. Council and serious advocate for vouchers in public schools. Nice to see you again.